Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Cover Zero podcast, the show where I cover the least in the best way possible. I'm your host, Jason Wells. Today is September 13th. Thursday Night Football is here. 2 episodes a week now, here to bring you the Week 2 preview. Obviously, Wednesday's episode. It was good. They always go long, and I'm thinking that maybe next week, instead of doing the NFL Weekly Update on the Wednesday, I'm going to do it on the Thursday, because these typically tend to be shorter episodes. Plus, more comes out in the week, more injury stuff to talk about. But something to speak on later, I guess. I mean, hey, you'll find out next week if there's no NFL Weekly Update. I'm moving them to Friday's episodes. Before I get into the blind Thursday Night Football recap, because we got a good matchup. I'm nervous, excited, all the above for it. I don't know if you can tell. I think I can even hear it in my voice while talking. I am sick right now. Not a lot of fun. Just a head cold, though. Nothing that I can't overcome. But thankfully, these are shorter episodes. So, Bills, Dolphins, nervous, excited. But I guess let's get into it right now. Week 2 preview, starting off with the blind Thursday Night Football recap. Going into this one, I've said it already. Nervous, excited. I didn't know where this game was going to go. I think both of these two teams evenly matched, and that's kind of what it showed. Obviously, the Bills do come out on top, unfortunately. Final score 27-24 for the Bills, but we kept it close. We played well. But Josh Allen, at the end of the day, is Josh Allen. There's a reason he's my MVP pick. And this offense, they don't got a real star. Dalton Kincaid, welcome to the NFL season. We missed you last week, but they just got a lot of playmakers. And Josh Allen at the helm just being like, okay, I have lots to work with now. They got the run game going. James Cook looks good. Ray Davis looks good. But the Bills, they're just the Bills. Dolphins, on the other hand, Achane going into this one was banged up, and he was limited a little bit, but we did get to see Jalen Wright in his Dolphins debut. He looked pretty good. There's a reason that we drafted him. We know that Mostert, Achane has his injury histories. We get right into the mix, and hopefully we just get this good rotation all year. The offense did look good. We were able to kind of pick apart this Bills defense that is missing cornerback Taron Johnson, but this is too much to overcome. However, I am happy in the direction this team is going. We put up a fight. This wasn't like normal Bills games where we get blown out, we're getting our ass kicked. We were in this game. It was a close game, and I can be happy with that. So, we'll actually see what happens, because I don't fucking know what happens, but that's the blind Thursday Night Football recap. Let's get into the Week 2 preview here, starting off with the Sunday night game. It is the Saints at the Cowboys. Also, new thing that I'm doing this week too. I obviously have my power rankings. I'm posting them on the Instagram. I post them on Twitter. Follow both of those if you don't. But I'm putting like my power ranking numbers into this. So right now it is my 26th ranked New Orleans Saints going against the number 12 ranked Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys -6, total set at 46.5. Both of these teams, relative cakewalks in week 1. The Saints kicked the ever-loving shit out of the Panthers. Dallas it was fine. They played the Browns. Watson stinks. It is what it is. And now both teams get a little bit of a test. Now Dallas is the heavy favorite in this one by -6, but it would not shock me if the Saints keep it close. No, I take that back. Trevor Penning will be going against Micah Parsons, and Micah Parsons will be stuffing him in a locker the entire game. Tali Fuaga looked great, but this is a much better Cowboys defense that they're facing. The Panthers defense did not look good whatsoever, really. So Cowboys should win this one. I mean, CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, the offense looked good. They're going against a pretty good Saints defense, but they looked fine. But I think, yeah, that Micah Parsons versus the Saints offensive line will be the big one. I'm kind of avoiding this one. I do lean Saints +6 because I'm not fans of like either of these teams yet. Something has to happen for me to be like, I underestimated you or I overestimated you. But right now, none of these teams have really proven that they can be better type football teams. I think they're rated fairly right now, but yeah, I think Parsons in this Dallas defense is going to be too much for the Saints at the end of the day. Next game up here, my number 28th ranked Las Vegas Raiders play the number 7 Baltimore Ravens. Ravens -9, total set of 41.5. This is the biggest spread of the week, and for good reason. The Raiders did not look good at all last week against a okay-looking Chargers team, a Chargers team that is in, again, stage 1 of a rebuild, and the Raiders only managed to put up 10 points, and they're playing a Ravens team. Much better offense, much better defense than this Chargers team from last week. However, and I will say however, Christian Wilkins, Max Crosby do cause issues. And this is a Ravens offensive line that got battered and beaten badly last week by the Chiefs. And Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, I would take Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins over that duo. It should be good. Like, the Raiders defense held up fairly well. All things considered, obviously, the run game got gashed. A couple of Dobbins big runs there. But I think that there is a world where the Raiders' defensive line beats up on this Ravens offensive line, and maybe Lamar can't be the superhero that he was last week with all the rushing yards. But we'll see. The other part of me is like, okay, Isaiah Likely had that big game last week. I feel like Mark Andrews is due, and I'm going to put that in my head. I think I'm going to bet the over for whatever Mark Andrews' yards and catches are probably. That sounds right. The Ravens are going to win this one. Don't you worry. But that Max Crosby and Christian Wilkins versus the Ravens offensive line, that is the matchup for me to watch out for in this one anyways. Yeah, we will keep moving forward. Next game up here, this is the Toilet Bowl game of the week. The number 29 ranked Commanders versus the number 30 ranked Giants. This game smells like absolutely. Commanders -1.5, total set of 43.5. This is not a good game. This is not a good game whatsoever. Daniel Jones he's been hearing it in the media all week. People are asking him, like, how is your mental toughness? And that must absolutely suck to hear from media 24/7 about, like, I don't know if he is mentally tough. And Daniel Jones is obviously doing the right things and saying the right things about, like, no, this is stuff he's been hearing for his whole career so far. He's used to it, blah, blah, blah. But you have to think that it's getting to him. It would get to any person. But they have a chance to turn it around against the Commanders this week. I am not a fan of the Commanders whatsoever, as you can see by them being ranked 29th. Not a fan of the offense, not a fan of the defense, not a fan of the coaching for that matter. And when I look at games, I like, okay, who has the better coaching staff? It is the Giants. Who has the better roster? I think the Giants have the more talented players. And again, Jaden Daniels, Daniel Jones, I would take Jaden Daniels in a heartbeat over Daniel Jones, but Jaden Daniels still hasn't really proven himself in this league yet. He looked okay against the Bucks the week before, but now this Giants defense, who did play fairly well against Sam Darnold and the Vikings, and they got some playmakers there, but this Commanders' offensive line is not good. Dexter Lawrence is an absolute freak, one of the best defensive tackles in the league. He is going to feast in this game. Now, hopefully, they're not going against Christian Darrisaw this week, thankfully. So hopefully Brian Burns gets it going for them. That would be nice, but I just think that the Commanders, I don't trust their coaching whatsoever. I already think this is a very bad defense, and Cliff Kingsbury is just not a good. He's just so unimaginative. He's so predictable. Where I think that the Giants and Brian Dable will able to scheme together a game where this is going to be a low scoring game. I don't think this is going to be a good one, but I do expect the Giants to come away in this one. So I am on the Giants for this week. Next game up here, Chargers -6 at the Panthers. Let's redo that. My number 21 ranked Chargers versus the dead last team, 32 ranked Panthers. Chargers -6, total set at 39.5. I got to see something. I got to see something from Bryce Young and the Panthers this week. It was last week was a disaster, and I talked a lot about it on the Wednesday's episode. So this is move on. That game didn't happen. Let's see something, because again, I can talk a lot of shit about the Saints defense and how old they are, whatever. But at the end of the day, they still got guys like Tyrann Mathieu, Marshawn Lattimore, Demario Davis, Cam Jordan. Like, they got old-ass playmakers on that team and a bunch of other guys who are still, like, very capable starters. The Saints' defense is a better defense than the Chargers, in my opinion. The Saints' offense, at this point anyways, is a better offense than what the Chargers are working with. Obviously, there's levels to this. Herbert is much better than Carr. The Chargers' offensive line is much better. But in terms of, like, weapons anyways, like Kamara, Olave, Shaheed, Taysom Hill, better than the guys on the Taysom Hill one's kind of a joke, but the Panthers do have an easier matchup in terms of roster-wise. Coaching-wise, Harbaugh's way better than Dennis Allen. So this is why I think that this is why I do think the Chargers are going to win this one. Better QB, better quarterback. That's pretty easy. But all you have to hope for the Panthers is I think that the Panthers do have a chance to win this one. Obviously, it would have to be a complete 180 of what we've seen for the last 18 games of Bryce Young, I guess. I think he might have missed a game last year, but like, we'd have to see something completely different. The offense would finally have to start clicking, but they do have the pieces to make it work. I'm on the over in this one, though. I think that the Chargers will score their points. I'm interested to see if QJ, if Ladd McConkey, if they can continue to do their thing. If J.K. Dobbins continues to get those touches and those long runs, that's something I'm looking out for. And they do have the opportunity. I like pieces on the Panthers' defense, but again, as a unit, didn't look great last week, but obviously it's because the offense also looked like shit. But I do think that the Panthers, they do have a chance to score some points. The total is at 39. I could see this being a 24-16 type game. Like, that's not out of the possibility. I do think that the Panthers are going to score 2 touchdowns this week. That is crazy, I know. But I think the over is happening in this game. The Panthers, 2 touchdowns. Crazy, crazy stuff, but we'll keep moving, though. Next game up here, it is by number 11 ranked Colts versus the number 9 ranked Packers. Put an asterisk on that because no Jordan Love in this one. As of right now, he is doubtful. He's not playing. Let's just be frank. Colts -2.5, total set at 40.5. Malik Willis is the starting QB for the Packers. I think that that's all I really have to say. The Colts are going to win this one, and I think that the Colts, who played a very good game against the Texans last week, and the Texans are one of my top 5 teams in the league, they played a very tight game against them, and they missed opportunities. Like Anthony Richardson, a couple of those deep balls to A.D. Mitchell get caught, the Colts win that one. And that Texans team is much better than the Packers team, and the Packers have Malik Willis starting at quarterback. This is also a good Colts defense. I don't think that they will be able to move the ball very well, if at all. They will be stacking the box against Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs got stopped a lot of the time last week. And again, we all like the weapons that the Packers have, but they don't have any standouts. Jaden Reed looks like he's that guy, and he needs to continue to do that. But again, Malik Willis is throwing him the football, and I just have no faith in him, especially against what I think is a very good Colts team. So Colts minus 2.5 is a very easy bet for me to make this week. Until Willis gets back, I can't trust the Packers whatsoever. Or until Love gets back, I can't trust the Packers whatsoever. Next game up here, my number 3 ranked 49ers versus the number 23 ranked Minnesota Vikings. Revenge game for Sam Darnold. I guess we'll see. I should read off the totals. I forgot to do that. Niners minus 5.5. Total set of 46.5. This should be a game where the Niners just roll them over. Like, simple as that. Christian McCaffrey might not play. Does he need to play? I would just kind of let him rest up, let him get healthy. It's a long season. The Niners are obviously pushing for Super Bowls, as they've been doing for the past couple years. Let Jordan Mason keep going. Maybe give Isaac Guerrero a couple carries, one of my guys, but there's no reason why the Niners shouldn't win this game. Obviously, Sam Darnold, it would be nice to see him continue to build off what he did from last week, but I'm not expecting another, he's 12 for 12 out of the gate, couple touchdowns. This should be a comeback down to earth game for Sam Darnold, but I guess we'll see. The Vikings obviously still very solid offensive line. They got their playmakers, so we'll see. Maybe Brian Flores can cook up some weird shit on defense like he typically does and gets the Niners and Brock Purdy off their game, but the Niners should roll in this one. Should be fairly simple anyways. Not taking anything in this one, but we'll keep moving on here. Next game up, it is the number 27th ranked Browns versus the number 13th ranked Jaguars. No Tyson Campbell, unfortunately, for this one. For the Jags, I also didn't mention, and I didn't mention in Wednesday's episode when I should have, Derek Brown for the Panthers, out for the season, which is another big reason why I like the over. No Derek Brown. Their run game is going to get going again like it did against the Raiders, and points is all I can say. But yeah, okay, Browns, Jags, no Tyson Campbell. He is gone on short-term IR. But again, they're missing their number 1 corner, but Deshaun Watson is the quarterback of the other team, so that's not that big of an issue. With all that being said, this would be the week that it would be nice for Trevor Lawrence to finally hit that next step. I think he was cutting his hair today, which is very funny because I think that would make 2 quarterbacks that the Dolphins have played who had nice, long, luscious locks, and they play them, they lose, and they cut their hair immediately after, Justin Herbert being the first. I think Trevor Lawrence, he had some weird announcement where it looked like he was announcing he was cutting his hair. I haven't found out as of yet, but we'll keep going here. Yeah, we've got track, but this is a game where, okay, the Browns still have a very good defense, where if the Jags can put something together, look like a good offense, cohesive offense for a full game, because that's the big issue with them, is they don't play well for an entire game. They play good for stretches, and then it goes away, and I do still really like this Raiders Jaguars defense. I like their front 7 a lot. They have 2 of the best. I think they probably have the best linebacking tandem in the league. Maybe the Niners. Fred Warner's just that good. But Foye Oluokun, Devin Lloyd, they are both excellent. And that defensive line is scary good. Josh Hines-Allen, Eric Armstead, Trayvon Walker. The Browns offensive line, and a very hurt Browns offensive line, will have their hands full already. And I honestly like this Jags defensive line better than the Cowboys offensive line or defensive line, which is probably a little crazy to say, but no, I just like them more. Simple as that. Watson also has another sexual assault case brought up against him. I'm sure the Browns are hoping they can get out of that contract and move on and whatever, but the Browns are dealing with a bunch of shit right now. I will give them a chance, though, because I don't know, and I don't trust the Jags coaching staff. At least I trust Kevin Stefanski. I know Kevin Stefanski's a good coach. I don't have any strong leans in this game. I think if I had to pick money line straight up, I would pick the Jags. I do think that they're a much better team based off my power rankings. But the Browns could come out of nowhere and sneak away a win if their defense, like it did a lot of the time last year, keeps them in games and Watson just needs to not fuck up terribly like he's done for 4 straight years, basically. Keep moving on, though, here. My number 16 ranked Seahawks versus the number 24 Patriots. Patriots, the biggest risers in my power rankings from last week. Seahawks -3.5. Total set at 38.5. Patriots proved a lot of people wrong last week, and I talked about that a lot, but they were going up against a defense that I don't think is very good. I think is bottom half of the league fairly easily. And they're playing against a Seahawks defense that I like quite a bit, and I like their coach quite a bit. So I think this is a much harder matchup for the Patriots this week, especially on offense. Now, they only scored 16 points. They forced some turnovers, and that's what the Patriots defense does. But this offensive line wasn't really tested, and I don't think it's a very good offensive line. Trey Hendrickson on the Bengals is obviously great, but he's one man. This Seahawks defensive line, they got dudes, and they got a bunch of them, and I'm excited to see what Byron Murphy and Leonard Williams can do to this interior of the offensive line. I don't think Ramondre will be able to have another 120-plus yard game again. It's going to be a much tougher day on offense for the Patriots. Now, flip-flop, Bengals offensive line, trash. Seahawks offensive line, iffy, but they got Charles Cross. Charles Cross has been very good. I'm interested to see if Keon White matches up against him or they go against the right tackle. I'm not sure if it's still Abe Lucas. He might still be hurt. But, again, I think that the offensive line, it's better. The Seahawks offensive line is better than the Bengals offensive line. And they got more weapons. Zach Taylor couldn't even scheme Jamar Chase open. Gonzo will have his hands full with DK Metcalf, and I'm sure that DK Metcalf's not going to have a good game. JSN, Tyler Lockett, the run game, Kenneth Walker is banged up. I believe he's going to play, though. I don't know. It'll be tough. And the Seahawks offense did not look good last week against, again, a very okay-looking Broncos defense, in my opinion. So they gotta step up, and I think this is on paper. The Seahawks should win this one, but again, the Patriots love to get teams in rock fights, and it looks like Gerard Mayo is keeping that tradition up of keeping that defense at a top level. But let's see if Keon White can do the same thing. Let's see if they can still force those turnovers, because that will be the difference maker. I don't see the Patriots doing it, though. I do think that Mike McDonald is going to eat this offense alive, and I think that Geno Smith in this offense won't have the turnovers and the bad plays as they did last week against the Broncos. So I'm on the under in this one. I don't think this is going to be a high scoring game. I think I'm on the under. Keep moving on. My number 14th ranked New York Jets versus the number 25 ranked Tennessee Titans. This is a bounce-back game for the Jets. And when I say a bounce-back game, it's just like, okay, they played one of the best teams in the league, a team that's going to be in the NFC Championship. Just pencil that in. It's all good. Now they're playing against the Titans, who we like a lot of players on the Titans. I like the defense on the Titans, but the Jets have a chance to be like, okay, this is a big prove-it game for the Jets. We saw what you did, again, week 1 against a very good team that's been very good for a very long time. Now you're stepping down and you're playing a team that should pick in the top 15 picks quite easily. Where the Jets, you got playoff hopes, you got Super Bowl aspirations. This is a game where they decide where they're going from this season. If this is a close game, if they get in a rock fight with the Tennessee Titans, that's not looking good. But the Jets should be able to do it. Like, I don't know why Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, the defense, like, why they shouldn't be able to stop Will Levis and the Tennessee Titans. It should be an easy Jets win. However, the Titans' defense is scrappy. They got a lot of good players. And again, the Jets' offense looked like it did last season. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers making the easy throws that Zach Wilson couldn't. But it's give the ball to Breece Hall. Okay, where's Garrett Wilson down the field? Oh, shit, he's not open. Sack. Like, if those two guys aren't making the plays, there's no one else on the Jets right now who is making plays for them. Again, we're only going into week 2, but it's Nathaniel Hackett at offensive coordinator. I don't think he's going to do any like mind-bending things. But the Titans defense, again, Jeffrey Simmons, L'Jarius Sneed, Quandre Diggs, Ernest Jones, who looked good in his Titans debut, Tavondre Sweat. He was great for them last week, and this Jets offensive line, they spent a lot of money into it. They're playing against another good defensive front and another very good defense, and I'm interested to see how it holds up, how it looks. Again, Jets should win this one just mainly because I don't think that Will Levis is a good quarterback. You see some nice things, and then he just does the most mind-blowingly stupid thing you could possibly imagine. So I know. We'll see what version of Will Levis we get. There's no picks in this one, no leans in this one, because I do think the Jets should win, but I think this is closer to a coin flip game than people think. Keep moving on. My number 15th ranked Buccaneers going against the number 2 ranked Lions. Playoff rematch from last year? That sounds right. Yeah, no, this was a playoff matchup. Divisional game? No. Yeah, divisional game. Because the Lions played the Rams, then the Bucs. Yeah, that makes sense. Right? Whatever. Either way, I'm getting ahead of myself. The Bucs had a nice little warm-up exhibition match versus the Buccaneers, versus the Commanders last week. And now they get to play the Lions. The Lions at home. The Lions, who I think have the best team, second best team in the league, best team in the NFC. Maybe DJ Reader gets back. That would be huge. But I don't think that Baker Mayfield's going to have another 275, 4-touchdown game this week. I don't know. That's just me. Lions secondary will definitely have its hands full with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and Jalen McMillan looked good for them. But I don't think it matters. I don't think that the Bucs defense was really tested much, if at all, last week by the Commanders, and Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta were vastly underused last week just because the Rams defense took them away. And I don't think that this Bucs defense has the guys to take away all those guys, plus Jameson Williams now over the top. Yeah, I think the Bucs, we'll see who the Bucs really are after this game, which I think is just kind of a middle-of-the-road team. They'll probably fight to win that division this year against the Falcons, but end of the day, like playoffs maybe, but 9-win, 8-win team at best, probably. The Lions should just roll them in this one. They are just the much better team. I think I said this. Lions minus 7.5, total set at 51.5. I kind of like that under. I don't think I'll bet it, but we'll keep going. Next game up here, Rams at Cardinals. My Rams, my number 10 team. Cardinals, my number 22. Cardinals minus 1, total set at 47.5. Personally, I don't really get this. I don't get this whatsoever. The Rams are the better team. I don't care how banged up right now, how many backups they have on their offensive line. The Cardinals got no pressure on Josh Allen last week. And I don't think that even against backups, if they just get league average pressure, there's no Aiden Hutchinson that Matt Stafford has to worry about on the Cardinals defensive line. There's no Aleem McNeil even. I don't know why the Cardinals are... Obviously, they played a very good game against the Bills last week. But I think the Rams' defense is also better. Their secondary held up fairly well, anyways, against the Lions' passing attack last week, and the Rams aren't going against the Lions' offensive line anymore. They're going against Paris Jackson Jr. and Jonah Williams, who also didn't look good. Greg Russo had 3 sacks last week. I think the Rams' young defensive line, this is going to be kind of their coming out party. They are going to feast on this offensive line and Kyler. Hopefully Marvin Harrison Jr. can get something going, because he 1 catch 9 yards last week, and the tape was bad. Like, he was not explosive. He was not quick. He was one of the slowest players, like, to tracked last week. I think he only hit 16 miles per hour on any of his routes run, which is terrible. So, I don't know. Like, the Rams, they're just a better team, better coach team. I like Jonathan Gannon, but he's not Sean McVay. Yeah, easily on the Rams in this one. Next game up here, the number 17 ranked Steelers versus the number 31 ranked Broncos. Steelers minus 2.5. Total set at 36.5. That is a very, very low total. But it's a low total for a reason, because I talked about Bo Nix and how he was going into a tough matchup last week against the Seahawks, and he did not look good. I would argue he looked terrible. And as much as I like Mike McDonald and the Seahawks defense, it is not the Steelers with TJ Watt and Cam Hayward, Alex Highsmith, Larry Ogunjobi, Keanu Benton, Patrick Queen, Joey Porter Jr., Minka Fitzpatrick. They got guys everywhere, and they're a proven good defense. Like TJ Watt just himself, I don't know how Mike McGlinchey is going to do against him, but Bo Nix, I mean, if we didn't think he had a good game last week, I don't know how he's going to do this one, but this is going to be a rock fight. Like most Steelers games are, but the Steelers should start out 2-0. I don't think that they're going to make the same mistakes that the Seahawks did, giving the Broncos multiple short field opportunities to kick field goals, because they don't play that way. They play bend, don't break styles, and obviously Justin Fields, we'll see turnover-wise, but I don't know. Justin Fields is still dynamic as a runner anyways and can get yards. They have enough else going on. Bo Nix isn't scoring points in this one. I don't know what he is to throw an interception. I'm taking that over. I'm taking TJ Watt's sack over. The Steelers are going to feast. Like, they're going to... That is a... Write that on the calendar. Put that in, like, the bank for later, where it's like, the Steelers against Bo Nix is going to be a masterclass. I don't say that lightly, but TJ Watt is going to do some things. The Steelers defense is going to do some things to this Broncos offense, and I guess we will see. Game of the week, in my opinion, for historical reasons and last 5 years reasons, Bengals 18 versus the number 1 ranked Chiefs. Wait, I have that wrong. Do I have that wrong? Oh, I didn't write down the Bears and the Texans. My bad. I'll do that in a bit. But yeah, 18 Bengals versus the number 1 Chiefs. Listen, this is the Bengals Super Bowl game every year for them. They have the Chiefs on the schedule. They beat them one time. Oh, it's Burrowhead. Like, sure, no one cares. The Bengals are even selling tickets to their own stadium for $100 for like a viewing party. It's cheaper to just go to the Chiefs game. That's how cheap the Bengals owners are, trying to drum up money to pay Jamar Chase, I guess. Yeah, this is just... I don't give the Bengals a chance. Like, quite honestly. T. Higgins, I still don't know what his status is. Jamar Chase should play, but that offensive line does not look good. I don't know what Amarius Mims' status is, but I don't think it really matters anyways. Throwing a rookie into the fire, he might be a stud. I don't know. He's definitely better than Trent Brown, though. This Chiefs defense, I don't think will be able to stop anyone. I mean, we saw Ramondre Stevenson run all over them last week. Now they're going against the interior offensive line of Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith. They're going to get mauled. This is going to be a big... The Chiefs are going to kill them. I don't think the Bengals have a chance in this one. The only way they do is if the offense comes together and Chase and Higgins are having their big plays and Burrow looks like Burrow again. And Zach, like the offense has to play spectacular because I think the Chiefs are just going to light up this defense. I am on the Chiefs in this one. I might play the -5.5. I don't think that's one of my picks for the week, but I might play the -5.5. Next game up here, and this was the one that I didn't have the power rankings for, but it is the where are the Bears? The number 19th ranked Bears versus my number 4 Houston Texans team. Listen, the Texans are going to win this one. This will be a big litmus test for the Bears, though. Texans -6.5, total set of 45.5. Obviously, Caleb Williams did not look very good last week at all. He had his moments. He looked like, okay, you didn't play well, but like you could see why people like you. And now they're playing a Texans team, which is obviously much better than the Titans, and we'll be able to see if this Bears team takes a little bit of a step. Caleb's a little more comfortable with what's going on, and they score some points. I don't think this is going to be a relatively close game. I don't think the Bears are ever going to feel in this game. But if they can come away and the score is, I don't know, 23 to 28 or 20 to 28, something like that, like a game where you score enough points to be like, okay, I can see the offense. Offense is still going through some things. Caleb's a rookie, but you want steps in the right direction if you're the Bears for this week. Texans, keep doing your thing. Like, again, you're playing on paper, you're playing a very good defense anyways, and this should be a game for this. It'll be a good matchup for the Bears defense to see how well they go up against an elite offense, but the Texans are just going to be too much at the end of the day. Quite honestly, so no leans in this one. Probably Texans -6.5 because I just think they are the much, much better team. And finally, Monday Night Football. Where is it? Number 20 Falcons versus the number 6 Eagles. Eagles -6.5. Total set of 47.5. The Falcons just did not look good whatsoever. Yeah, they stopped. They didn't allow a touchdown last week. That's great. You still lost. The offense did not look good. Kirk Cousins was a statue in the pocket. The offense was incredibly predictable. And this is a good Eagles roster. I won't say a good Eagles team yet, but it is a good Eagles roster that should have the best run game in football behind that offensive line with the immensely talented Saquon Barkley. The Eagles should run away with this one. I don't think this will be relatively close, and I mean, given the line, the Vegas does think that the Eagles are going to win by more than a touchdown. I don't know. It wasn't pretty last week for the Falcons, and I don't know from last week to this week what will change. Kirk's another week healthier, I guess, with his Achilles, but I don't think a week makes that much a difference mobility-wise. And it's a very good Eagles defense that they're going up against. I'd like to see the Eagles play Cooper DeJean more. I'd like to see Bryce Huff not get the least amount of snaps as their edge rusher. Which is crazy. That's something I didn't really talk about on Wednesday's show. But out of like the 4 edge rushers that they have there, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith, and Bryce Huff. Bryce Huff played the least amount of snaps out of all 3 of those guys, which I don't think that should be happening, if I'm being completely honest. But Vic Fangio loves playing the old guys until the young guys prove him wrong, which is not fun, I can tell you that. I don't know. Yeah, like the Eagles should win this one. Maybe we can see something more with this Falcons defense and Matt Judon. I mean, that Eagles offensive line is so good, though. Probably not. Yeah, tough for the Falcons if they start off 2-0 here, but the Eagles definitely should start off 2-0. Yeah, that does it for the NFL Weekly Recap. Not NFL Weekly Recap. That hasn't happened yet. The Week 2 preview.
And to end it off here, I will give out my picks. I have a lot of text messages. I will check that in a bit because that usually means something NFL related happened or Chew is just going on a rant in the group chat about something. I'll find out shortly here. But my picks for this week, as always, I give out a favorite, a dog, an over and under, and a moneyline dog. My favorite is the Colts -2.5. They're going against Malik Willis. Fairly simple. Dog, Giants +1.5. Dexter Lawrence is the reason I am making this pick, and I do think the Giants have a better roster and better coaching than the Commanders. So I'm on the Giants +1.5. Over 39.5, Chargers Panthers. No Derek Brown for the Panthers. This run game will continue to get going for the Chargers. And I still kind of believe in Bryce Young and the Panthers. Like, this is the last chance. But I think points will be scored in this one regardless. I have under 38.5 in the Seahawks-Patriots game. It's going to be a rock fight, and we will see who throws the most rocks at the end of the day. And finally, my moneyline dog, it is the LA Rams. I don't know why they're the underdogs. They're playing against the Cardinals. The Cardinals who picked number 5 last year, and the Rams who were a very good playoff team. I don't know what's happening. Either way, those are the picks. I guess before I end it here, let's check out what is happening in the group chats. Oh, it is just between Cam and Keegan. Wow, let's see what happens. Blah, 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 worst trade, Deshaun, is it Russ? No, it's Deshaun. Like, I don't think that we have to, it's Deshaun. Yeah, they're just talking about that. Either way, okay, and Josh Allen is 6-0 on Thursday Night Football. Duh. Yeah, okay. I will end it here. Hopefully I didn't sound too sick. I will find out tomorrow. But yeah, if you have liked this, as always, please like, share, retweet, subscribe, tell all your friends, and until next time, peace.